Hello, everyone! Today I am going to explain line by line a Sonnet 140 by William Shakespeare. If you are new here, please like and subscribe to support my channel. Before we start, I want to tell you what this poem is about in simple words. In this poem, Shakespeare talks about someone he loves, but that person is being very cruel and unkind to him. Shakespeare tries to be patient and keep quiet, but he warns that if the cruelty continues, his sadness might turn into anger, and he might say things he will regret. He asks for honesty and kindness, even if the person does not love him back. Now let's start and explain every line carefully. Be wise as thou art cruel. Do not press. Shakespeare begins by speaking directly to his mistress. He tells her that since she is already cruel to him, she should at least be wise about it. In other words, she should use her intelligence or common sense when treating him badly. The word press here means to push or burden someone emotionally. Shakespeare is basically saying, "You are already hurting me with your unkindness. But please, if you're going to be cruel, don't add more pressure or suffering than I can handle. At least be careful and smart about how far you go." He's trying to make her realize that there's a limit to how much pain he can endure. And then says, "My tongue-tied patience with too much disdain." He is saying that his patience, his ability to stay calm and quiet, is being pushed to its limit because of the disrespect from the person he loves. The phrase tongue-tied means he is holding back from speaking. He is silently suffering and choosing not to express his hurt feelings. Even though he wants to speak, love or fear keeps him quiet. But now her cruel treatment is becoming too much for him to handle. He's warning that if she keeps being unkind, his silence might break. He's been trying to be strong and patient, but her attitude is pushing him closer to a point where he might no longer be able to hold back his pain. This line shows how deeply hurt he is, and how her actions are testing the limits of his quiet suffering. Lest sorrow lend me words and words express. He continues his emotional plea to the woman he loves. He is saying that if she keeps being unkind to him, his deep sorrow might eventually force him to speak. The word lest means in case or for fear that, so he is warning her that if she keeps hurting him, he might not be able to stay silent anymore. Sorrow lend me words means his grief might give him the courage or pain strong enough to finally open his mouth and speak up. Normally he stays quiet out of love or fear, but pain might make him say things he didn't want to say. And if he speaks, those words will express or reveal the true depth of his suffering. He fears that once he begins to speak from sorrow, his words will pour out all the hurt and truth he has been hiding inside. So in short, Shakespeare is warning her, be careful, because if my sorrow gives me the power to speak, my words might reveal everything I've been holding back. The manner of my pity-wanting pain. In this line, he continues from the previous one. He says that if sorrow gives him the strength to speak, his words will reveal the manner of my pity-wanting pain. Here, the manner means the full nature, form, or way in which he is suffering. Pity-wanting means that his pain is desperate for pity. It longs to be understood, noticed, and felt by the person he loves. So in simple terms, Shakespeare is saying that his pain is not only deep and real, but it is also going unnoticed and unloved. He feels as though the woman he loves is showing him no sympathy at all, even though he is clearly hurting. If he starts to speak, he fears he might describe his pain so honestly and powerfully that it will show her exactly how cruel and heartless she has been. He wants her to know that his sadness is not small. It is painful, unspoken, and desperately longing for her kindness or pity. This is his warning. If pushed too far, he might not be able to keep all this pain silent anymore. And then says, If I might teach thee wit, better it were. Hear this part of line. If I might teach thee wit means if I could teach you some sense or wisdom. The word wit here means intelligence, understanding, or good judgment. He is speaking directly to the woman he loves, who has been treating him unkindly and coldly. He suggests that it would be better if she could learn some emotional wisdom, if she had the sense to understand how her actions are hurting him. Shakespeare isn't just being critical. He's saying that love, even if it's not returned, should at least come with honesty and kindness. He implies that her behavior lacks emotional intelligence, and he wishes he could teach her how to be thoughtful or considerate. This shows that he's not only sad, but also frustrated. He believes she doesn't even realize how much pain she's causing. So in simple terms, he's saying, if I could just teach you to be wise, it would be much better for both of us. Though not to love, yet love to tell me so. It means that even if the woman he loves does not actually love him back, she should at least be honest enough to tell him the truth. The phrase, though not to love, means even if you don't love me and yet love. To tell me so means, still my love. Please say it openly and clearly. Here, Shakespeare is asking for honesty instead of silence or cruel tricks. He would rather hear the painful truth than be tortured by guessing and silence. By calling her love, he still shows affection even while expressing his pain. This shows that he values truth and openness more than being kept in confusion. He wants her to say openly, I don't love you, if that is the case, rather than showing unkindness through her behavior or avoiding the topic altogether. In simple words, he's saying, even if you don't love me, please just say so clearly, because I deserve honesty. As testy sick men when their deaths be near. In this line, he makes a comparison between himself and sick people who are close to dying. The word testy means easily irritated or short-tempered. So testy sick men are people who are very ill and become easily upset because of their suffering. When Shakespeare says, when their deaths be near, he is referring to the time when these sick people feel they are about to die. Such people are usually very sensitive and do not want to hear bad news. They are too weak, both physically and emotionally, to handle unpleasant truths. Shakespeare uses this image to suggest that he, like those sick men, is emotionally weak and vulnerable because of the way his beloved treats him. He feels so hurt and exhausted by her coldness and unkindness that even a small sign of rejection is too painful to bear. In simple words, he says, just like sick people who are about to die become very irritable and cannot handle any more bad news, I too feel weak and broken by your behavior. No news but health from their physicians, no. It means that even though a sick person may be near death, he still wants to hear only good news from the doctor. Shakespeare says that even when people are suffering, they still long to hear comforting or hopeful words. In this comparison, the mistress is like the physician or a doctor, and Shakespeare, in his emotional pain, still hopes for kindness from her. He's saying, even though I'm in deep pain, I still wish to hear something gentle or good from you, like a sick man wants to hear he will recover. For if I should despair, I should grow mad. It means that if he falls into deep despair, he might lose his sanity. The word despair means a feeling of complete hopelessness, where a person sees no chance for happiness or improvement. Shakespeare is expressing how emotionally fragile he is because of the unkind behavior of the woman he loves. He is holding himself together with great effort, but he warns that if he becomes too hopeless, he might mentally break down. To grow mad means to go crazy or lose control of one's thoughts and feelings. This shows how powerful the pain of unreturned love is for him. It is not just sad, but dangerous to his mental health. He is saying, if I give up all hope, I might not be able to handle it and may go insane. His love has pushed him to the edge. and only a little more pain could drive him into madness. This line shows just how deeply and seriously he feels, the emotional weight of her rejection, and then says, "And in my madness might speak ill of thee." In this line, he continues from the previous thought. He says that if he loses hope and goes mad because of the pain caused by the woman he loves, then in that madness he might say bad things about her. The phrase "speak ill of thee" means to say something negative, hurtful, or disrespectful about someone. Shakespeare doesn't want to do that. But he's warning her that if he becomes mentally overwhelmed by sorrow, he might lose control and say things he doesn't truly mean. He's not threatening her. He's just being honest about how deep his emotional struggle is. His love and patience are holding him back right now. But madness could make him act out of character. This shows how much pressure he is under and how much he's struggling to keep his emotions in check. So he is asking for kindness before it's too late, because he fears the damage that his broken heart could cause, not just to himself, but also to her reputation. Now this ill-resting world has grown so bad. Now he reflects on the world around him and says it has become a place where people rest or twist everything in the worst way. Ill-resting means interpreting things wrongly or twisting the truth. He believes the world is full of people who misunderstand or misrepresent others. He's saying, this world is so corrupted now that even innocent things can be turned into something ugly. Mad slanderers by mad ears believe it be? In this line, he continues the idea from the previous one. He says that crazy people who spread lies are actually believed by other foolish people. Mad slanderers refers to those people who spread lies, and mad ears refer to other people who are foolish. This shows how dangerous and false the world has become. Lies and gossip are quickly believed. Shakespeare fears that if he ever speaks against his mistress in a moment of madness, people might believe him without question. And then says, "That I may not be so, nor thou belied." Now he states his true intention. He says he doesn't want to become one of those people who say harmful things, and he also doesn't want his mistress to be falsely spoken about. The word belied means to be misrepresented or falsely accused. He wants to avoid hurting her reputation and their relationship. Shakespeare is saying, I don't want to become one of those liars, and I don't want you to be seen in a false light either. Bear thine eyes straight, though thy proud heart go wide. In this final line, Shakespeare is asking the woman he loves to at least look at him honestly and directly. The word bear means to carry or hold, and thine eyes straight means to keep her eyes looking truthfully or not letting them wander to others. Even if her proud heart, which means her selfish or arrogant heart, go wide, which means her feelings or love go to someone else, he still wants her to control her eyes. He is saying, even if you don't love me anymore, and your heart has gone after someone else, please don't show it with your eyes when you're with me. Don't let your eyes show that you are no longer mine. He is begging for a small mercy, not to be hurt by her glances at others. Shakespeare is deeply hurt, and is asking her not to add to his pain by looking at others with love in front of him. Even if she is unfaithful in her heart, he pleads for her not to make it obvious and hurt him more. I hope you have enjoyed this lecture, but please don't forget like and subscription to the channel. Thank you.